Tonight on UI7 News, Ebert Fest opens tomorrow. We take a look at this year's jam-packed lineup.
We're bringing in big name directors and actors and producers, and we want to make sure that they're treated well and that their trip goes smoothly.
Then, Earth Day is on the horizon. We check in with some student groups on campus trying to make a difference in the environment.
Plus, the Illinois Marathon is coming to Champaign-Urbana this weekend. We'll sit down with Marathon Coordinator Jan Seeley to talk about this year's event.
Your UI7 News starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, UI7 News, your U of I news source.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Jaffe.
And I'm Erin Stanley. The annual Ebert Fest is back tomorrow night at the Virginia Theater in downtown Champaign.
While the fest is just a night away, the planning goes back further than you may realize. The 19th annual Ebert Fest kicks off Wednesday night at the Virginia Theater in downtown Champaign. And while the festival typically runs smoothly, the 8-month planning process is anything but a breeze. Assistant Director of Ebert Fest, Casey Ludwig, can attest to that.
It obviously ramps up as we get closer to the festival, but the logistics are a lot.
Those logistics that Ludwig is responsible for range from marketing, advertising, and sponsorships, all the way to travel, coordination, and website maintenance. But Ludwig, in her second year handling the details of Ebert Fest, is doing just fine under the pressure.
She's doing a great job. She stepped into the role after a person that had been doing it for about 13 years, from basically the beginning of Ebert Fest until when Casey took over. So that person had a big advantage of learning the ropes as things came up over the years. So Casey had to kind of jump in.
Ebert Fest is named after Urbana native, U of I journalism grad, and renowned film critic Roger Ebert. The stresses of putting on the 5-day movie screening festival certainly do not go away just because the event is in its 19th year.
Just the amount of things that we have to do. You know, we're bringing in big name directors and actors and producers, and we want to make sure that they're treated well and that their trip goes smoothly. So it's just making sure that we've accounted for everything along their trip here.
The theater may be empty today, but come tomorrow night, one can expect all of these seats to be filled. And when the first movie is screened, just how good will Ludwig feel given the 8 months of intricate planning?
Pretty good. I'll feel better when the last one screens.
In Champaign, Jonathan Jaffe, UI7 News.
Ebert Fest is jam-packed with movies beginning tomorrow night. Tomorrow night kicks off with the film Hair at 7 o'clock. Thursday begins in the early afternoon with Hysteria showing at 1. To Sleep with Anger starts at 4, and The Handmaiden at 8:30. Friday the event continues with July and half of August, and They Call Us Monsters, while Variette and Elle round out the night. Ebert Fest will continue through Sunday. In celebration of Earth Day, Students for Environmental Concerns hosted an environmental expo. The indoor environmental fair aimed to get students more involved in saving the earth. Student and campus organizations participated as well as groups from the Champaign-Urbana community. The rest of the week will follow suit with events like a bike ride with Chancellor Jones and a plant sale, to name a few.
The U of I campus is celebrating Earth Week in many ways. UI7's Dakota Carson is in studio and has more on the festivities.
Tuning into the environment is an important part in bettering Mother Nature. See how one man got back on the bike and encourages the community to do the same. Eric Green is not your typical bike rider. Green took off the training wheels just 7 years ago. Green was 28 when he officially learned how to ride a bicycle, and now he hopes to encourage the community to do the same.
They're a kid's toy. That's what we're kind of taught culturally, that bikes are not necessarily a thing that, once you become an adult, it's all about getting a driver's license and getting a car, and then you have like a mode of transportation which works.
Illinois Earth Week kicked off yesterday, and it's offering the community opportunities to learn and celebrate Mother Earth. Green assisted UIUC Bike Face today by offering cheap tune-ups on bikes. Co-president of Bike Face, America Guerra, believes this event isn't just tuning people into their bikes, but into the environment.
We find that riding bikes is really important, and it's a sustainable mode of transportation, just because there's no gas emissions, we don't put a lot of damage on the roads and all of that stuff.
Green says tuning your bike is as easy as following the ABCs. A, make sure there's air in the tires. B, check your brakes to make sure they're not rubbing. And C, check your chain to make sure it's not stretched.
I know for me, when my bike's like squeaking a lot and like making a lot of noise, I feel kind of embarrassed about it, and like it's not a pleasant ride. And so like trying to get people where they're like comfortable on their bikes and they feel like it's safe, and that sort of informs their future decisions whether or not they're going to choose to ride their bike.
While Green is new to biking as an adult, he wants this event to encourage people to know bikes are not just for kids.
For me, it's about getting more cyclists out there that are comfortable riding, that can be on the streets, to get, you know, just a little bit more awareness around like people and where their bikes are going to be.
In Urbana, I'm Dakota Carson, UI7 News.
While bikes are getting a tune-up on the quad, Champaign-Urbana motorists are getting a break on the road. Champaign-Urbana is currently home to some of the lowest gas prices in the state of Illinois. As of this afternoon, IllinoisGasPrices.com shows Champaign had prices as low as $2.03. That is about 45 cents below the state average. The highest prices in the state come from Chicago, with prices north of $3.
Governor Bruce Rauner made a stop in Champaign today while on the campaign trail. Rauner is touring EpiWorks in northern Champaign and discussing changes to foster innovation and technology with locals.
We all know how great this is here in Champaign, but we got to get the world to know, and we got to help expand.
He stated the University of Illinois prestige is one of the best kept secrets he plans to expose. By bringing more business to Champaign, he hopes to keep the town of U of I in the area. Although the governor did not graduate from the university, his hope for it and the city of Champaign to prosper were clear.
From one big Illinois name to another, Alma Mater will be getting a new look for the upcoming events around campus. UI7's Cassandra Smith looks into how Alma shows her spirit.
Alma Mater is a major part of the Illinois campus, so much so that she's dressed for different events. This week, she'll be donning different attire to celebrate Ebertfest and the Illinois Marathon. Robin Kaler is the spokesperson for the university, and she is also in charge of dressing Alma Mater. She explains what Alma will be wearing for this week's big events.
For Ebertfest, she has a popcorn bucket, so she's a little popcorn seller. For the Illinois Marathon, she has a race bib, and of course
The big attraction during graduation weekend is Alma in her cap and gown. Kaler says she came up with the idea, and then it went into action in no time.
Herf Jones made the regalia. They came and measured her. She's very large. She's just big boned, and they made a whole set of regalia for her.
Alma's regalia will include the traditional cap and gown, but she will also have a stole of gratitude that will reflect the sesquicentennial, the same one that will be given to graduates.
So while Alma Mater is a special part of the University of Illinois campus, she becomes even more special when she dons special attire for special occasions.
While Eli King is only a sophomore, he's still familiar with what students usually do with Alma over the course of their Illinois career.
My experience is you're supposed to take a picture with it the day you get here and the day you graduate. I did not take a picture with it the day I got here, so I'll probably take a picture with it the day I graduate then.
Robin Kaler says that Alma will be dressed for graduation soon, but only during the day.
Last couple of days of the week, I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we come over and we dress her in the morning, and then we take the regalia off in the evening, because we know if we left it on overnight, it would be awfully appealing for students to keep as a souvenir. So,
whether she's dressed up or not, Alma is an icon on the university campus. In Urbana, I'm Cassandra Smith, UI7 News.
Boy, that weather sure is beautiful. Let's check in with UI7's Jessica Corso with your Fastcast.
Spring has officially sprung, and it's a great night to sit outside and enjoy the warm weather. It was sunny earlier, but as you can see, there are a few clouds in the sky. Now let's take a look at your Fastcast. Tonight we'll see clear to partly cloudy skies and a 10% chance of rain, so if you're looking for something to do, it'd be a perfect night to take an evening stroll. And winds will be going south at 6 to 8 miles per hour. Back to you.
The Illinois Marathon kicks off this weekend. Coming up, we'll tell you how the street construction might affect the runners.
Plus, we talked to Illinois Marathon co-director Jan Seeley about this weekend's race. Stay tuned.
The big Illinois Marathon is just days away. UI7's Nico Burton has developing details on Champaign-Urbana street conditions.
Thanks, John. I spoke to a student runner and even a member of the marathon committee who is ensuring all participants that the construction won't affect this week's events. With the MCOR project underway, traffic has been heightened throughout the campus town area. And with the Illinois Marathon this weekend, spectators and runners alike wonder how the construction will impact the festivities. Runner Hayden Hinton is preparing for his third Illinois half marathon. And while he acknowledges the local construction, it's not much of a concern for him.
There is definitely, some of the roads are definitely spotty, but I think the Illinois Marathon Committee does a pretty good job of narrowing, just taking care of the runners, because everything is, the paths are like narrow with people on the sides, and so you're running in the middle of the road where there's probably the least problems.
Scott Friedline, the emergency services coordinator for the Illinois Marathon, assisted in the planning of the route, which remained the same from last year. When it came to the MCOR project, Friedline had no concern about it affecting the weekend.
And clearly, we've been involved with MCOR since the early time, and MCOR is very aware of this. The interesting thing is this is a certified route, and it has to be certified. Our certification will actually end next year. And so that adds to the challenge.
And with MCOR and understanding of the marathon, Friedline and the Marathon Committee are expected to rise to the challenge. Just a few days ago in front of the Illini Union, Green Street was down to just one lane. However, due to preparation for the marathon, you can see it's now wide open. So with the assurance of an open road, Hinton is focused on one goal.
I definitely stepped in some potholes and maybe messed up an ankle here and there, but I'm not too concerned. The feeling of accomplishment at the end is what I do it for. That's just the feeling that I did it, I was able to do it, I set my goal and I reached it. That's what it's all about for me.
With the hurdle of construction taken care of, all that's left to do is hope for some good weather. In Champaign, I'm Nico Burton, UI7 News.
Joining us now is the Illinois Christie Clinic Marathon Co-Director, Jan Seeley. Jan, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So to start off with, can you talk about years past marathon compared to this year's as far as traffic? What can we expect?
Well, the first thing to note about this year's race is a week earlier. As people know, with the Garth Brooks concert coming next weekend, our traditional week, we moved 1 week earlier. So that's the big news. We're feeling the lack of one extra week in terms of our organization. It's a lot collapsing into this week, but we're expecting another big crowd. We closed registration on Monday, and we just reopened it, and we already have in the first hour like 100 more people signed up. So we're probably going to have between 18 and 19,000 runners, and that's about where we've been the last year or so. So a lot of people coming to town. I know you're going to ask about the construction on Green Street. That will all be put on halt, and stuff will be cleared out of the way so that the runners can make their way down Green Street. That's the major thoroughfare of the beginning part of the race.
Okay.
What can people expect in terms of traffic, though? Not just with construction, but traffic in general because of the marathon.
Oh, well, are you talking about the runners or the people who live in town?
I would say the people who live in town.
Well, obviously the 5K is Friday night, starts at 7:30, and we pretty much lock down and close all the roads on campus. So nobody should be trying to, move between 7:30 and 9. For Saturday's race, we do a good job of publicizing ways to get around town to avoid the route. So if you go to IllinoisMarathon.com and go to the logistics page, there's a course section that's got maps to a beltway map, for instance, that it might take you a little bit longer to get from A to B, but if you follow our directions, you will not intersect any part of the route. We also have a schedule of when roads clear, so if you're wondering, can I get from here or there, you can look at that schedule. We also have a hotline that you can call, and we'll help you figure out how to get from there. So we feel like we're a very responsible organization in terms of, we know we are inconveniencing the city on that day, but we try to make it possible for everybody to get to where they want to go. But we also would just like people to come out and cheer as well. So it'll be a little bit slower than normal, but most people at this point know to either stay in or, find a nice place to cheer and just enjoy the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it that you want the community to know about the marathon, in general, and things to expect, things of that nature?
Well, this event in its 9th year is really changed the landscape of Champaign-Urbana. Not only has it helped get us even bigger national reputation than it already has, given the stature of our university here, but we've got runners coming from almost 50 states. We have changed the health and welfare of people who live here. We're getting healthier. This is what our medical communities are telling us. We have routinely bring in about $10 million in economic impact on race weekend. And above all that, we've donated almost $1 million to local charities. So this is an event that has a big footprint, but it is a very responsible event and doing a lot of good for our community.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Jan. Again,
Thank
that
you
is
so
Jan
much.
Seeley, co-director of the Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon. With the 2017 Illinois Marathon just days away, we now have an idea of how many people will be participating. Let's take a look at the breakdown of this year's participants. More than 17,000 people will take part in the 2017 marathon. That down from last year's marathon total of more than 19,000 participants. Nearly 1,600 participants will be running in the full marathon, while 4,400 will be running the half. 199 teams of 4 will be running in the marathon relay. The highest number of participants will be running Friday night in the 5K, with more than 7,000 and nearly 3,000 runners will run the 10K. Finally, almost 600 participants will be running in the youth run.
When we come back, we'll take a look at this week's weather.
Now we're going to send it to UI7's Jessica Corso with your weather.
Beautiful temperatures outside lately. Make sure you don't miss out. Today is a beautiful day. Go outside, ride your bike, hang out with friends. Now let's take a look at our radar. We can see up north there is a chance for rain, but mostly in the Illinois area it is rain-free. Beautiful day outside. Now let's take a look at our local temperatures. Over in Champaign-Urbana we have 75 degrees, up in Bloomington at 73, and over in Springfield 76 degrees. For our Midwest temperatures, it's pretty much 70s across the region. 73 in Chicago, 74 out in Des Moines, 76 down in Kansas City, and 77 in St. Louis. For our national temperatures, up in Minneapolis, 58 degrees, over in Denver, 77, and Phoenix, 91. That is a little too warm for me. I don't know if I could handle it. Now let's go to tonight's. We have a low of 58 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, winds south at 6 to 18 miles per hour. Tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day. Make sure to get outside. You definitely will not need a jacket. Mostly cloudy skies, winds south-southwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. On Thursday, we see some scattered thunderstorms, a high of 68, a low of 44. Friday, another beautiful day, 60 degrees outside, 44 is the low. On Saturday, you're definitely going to need a jacket if you are participating in the Illinois Marathon. We see a high of 56 and a low of 43. And on Sunday, another beautiful day outside, high of 66, low of 41.
Well, thank you, Jess.
Thank you. You know, today was one of the greatest days to go outside and not be able to wear a jacket. You don't have to. You know, it's nice. It was like 75 today, beautiful weather.
That's why I came in yellow. Tried to brighten up the studio.
What a beautiful day. Well, joining us now is Misaki Sugimoto with some sports.
Thanks, John. The Illini baseball team is back in action tonight at home. We'll preview their matchup. And former Illini Tatiana McFadden competed in the Boston Marathon yesterday. We'll have those results when we come back. For our first story, we have a bit of an upset. Former Illini Tatiana McFadden took 4th in the Boston Marathon. This comes after McFadden had won the last 4 Boston Marathons in a row. According to her Facebook page, McFadden recently was in the hospital. She said, "Everything was okay until 2 weeks before Boston when my blood clots came back. After my surgery, when I woke up, the first thing I asked was, can I run Boston? The doctors looked at me like I was crazy, but they did give me the go-ahead." 2 Illini did place ahead of McFadden in the race. Amanda McRory and Susanna Scaroni, both former Illini, took 2nd and 3rd respectively. Manuela Schar from Switzerland took 1st place in the race. The next major marathon coming up is the London Marathon this Sunday. The baseball team takes on Western Michigan. The Illini are coming off of a tough series against their rival Northwestern. It took the Illini 11 innings to take out Northwestern in the first matchup. In the second, the Wildcats hit back strong by crushing the Illini 11-4. The third matchup was a barn burner with the score in favor of the Illini 10-8. Matthew James was the new star for the Illini. He pitched 5 2/3 innings and held Northwestern to just 3 runs in his first start. The Illini play again tonight with righty Cole Belair expected to take the mound. The game is tonight at 6 o'clock right after our show at Illinois Field in Champaign. In softball, the Illinois softball team will be trying to capitalize on their 7-game win streak. The softball team will be taking on Butler tomorrow night at Eichelberger Field. Illinois relies on their strong hitting, especially that of slugger Nicole Evans. The senior already has the all-time record for RBIs in Illinois history. She currently has over 165. She has led the Illini to their strong 31-10 record. The Bulldogs have not been as fortunate as the Illini. They currently stand at 17-23, but have a 6-game losing streak. That game will be tomorrow at Eichelberger Field in Urbana at 5 p.m. In basketball, a former Illini coach has found a new home just an hour's drive away. Former Illini coach Matt Ballant was introduced as the new Eastern Illinois women's basketball coach. Ballant joins the Panthers after serving the last 5 seasons coaching the Illini. He was fired from that position just a month ago. Ballant compiled a 61-94 record overall and 22-62 record in Big Ten play at the helm of the Illini. His most notable moment was recruiting Shatrice White, a top 10 recruit in the country, but she ultimately decided to transfer after 2 years to Florida State. Ballant is taking over an EIU program that went 34-80 under their last head coach, Debbie Black. Illinois men's gymnastics will be looking to bring home some hardware this weekend. Illinois is ranked 4th in the country and took 2nd in the Big Ten championships. They travel to West Point, New York this Friday to participate in the NCAA championships. Junior Brandon Nye took home the pommel horse title at the Big Ten championships and will be looking to defend his NCAA title at West Point. Nye became the youngest NCAA champion in history when he won the pommel horse at age 17, the youngest known champion to date. The Illini will begin action in New York on Friday. In pro sports, the Blackhawks have their backs pushed against the wall. After being unable to score in the first 2 games, the Hawks blew a 2-0 lead to the Nashville Predators and unfortunately lost in overtime off a goal from the Preds' Kevin Fiala. That puts the Nashville Predators up 3-0 over the Blackhawks. Only 4 teams in NHL history have come back from a 3-0 deficit. The Hawks will play the Preds in Nashville Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Bridgestone Arena. That's it for sports. Back to you guys.
Moving on to entertainment, Lady Gaga is making an appearance in a Bradley Cooper film, and Sam Elliott is returning to the big screen in this week's Hollywood Minute.
We have our first look at Lady Gaga in the latest remake of A Star is Born. Bradley Cooper makes his directorial debut and co-stars as a fading country star who mentors and romances Gaga's character, an up-and-coming singer. Production kicked off this week at the Coachella Music Festival.
The Western Appreciation Guild, they want to give you a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Lifetime, huh?
Sam Elliott returns to the big screen in a new drama out this summer. The Hero centers on an actor who tries to get his life in order after being diagnosed with cancer. Here's a sneak peek.
Are you okay? You seem a little off. I did one film that I'm proud of. That was 40 years ago. Since then, I wouldn't say I've been achieving.
In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
The famous app Snapchat is creating a new twist on its popular face filters.
If you're a fan of the dog ears, flower headbands, and face swap, you'll love Snapchat's new 3D World lenses. This new feature will change daily as it augments reality by using objects that appear to exist in the real world. You can try out the new lenses by tapping your camera screen while using the rear-facing camera. Select your lens, place it where you'd like, and enjoy walking near clouds, rainbows, floating OMGs, and more.
I don't know about you guys. I personally love the Snapchat filters, not only for the selfies, but my 2 3-year-old nieces, I was out to dinner with them. It made me a great uncle because, you know, you just pull out your phone, pull the filters on them. They're like, oh, like, use the one with the dog, and they love that. I don't know. What do you guys think about the filters?
Have you guys used the new one? The 3D?
I have not.
It's
I still
hard.
don't know how to do the filters.
I try. See, that's the thing. I have to get used to using new filters and all that, but you can, like, you know, move it, and I don't know. I'm going to try it.
I think it mixes things up a little bit. I'm a big fan of Snapchat. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that think that it's just too much social media and we're always on our phones, but I don't care. It's 2017. Let's use the
face
filters.
swap
Bring
is
them
my
on.
favorite
Face
part.
swap,
The face
yeah.
Face swap's fun.
I'm going to be Jess. We're going to swap faces for a little bit and see.
Absolutely. I love the filters. Bring more of them on. So I want to say one quick thing for the fun fact for the viewers at home. Aaron and I actually went to the same high school. It's always good to work alongside
Viking
a fellow
pride.
Viking. Make it a great day to be the Viking, they always say. So, good
Of course.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up tonight's edition of UI7 News. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to follow UI7 News on Facebook and Twitter. We'll be back next Tuesday. There's also another edition of UI7 News tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.